Welcome to Laundry Lessons with Craig and Leah. We're here today to talk about those really tough stains on whites. The good news here is if you pre-treat them and then pre-soak them in cold water, not hot, you should be able to bleach them out in a load that comes after that. Oh, hey, Sean, what's going on?
Listen, my day was already going bad. Started my day with Starbucks' jank-ass cups spilling coffee all over me for no reason. And then Craig decided...
Did you get at Starbucks, by the way?
I don't know.
A large.
A grande, technically, but not a grande.
Actually a large,
it was a large, but that also doesn't really exist. Okay. A venti is what I technically got.
Well, yes, this is the Laundry Podcast. There's nothing else going on in sports to talk about right now. But thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Podcast, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah, here with Craig. Petey, he's kind of in some hot water right now with the FCC after his Roman read yesterday. I don't know. So he's on probation at the moment from our show.
He's with our attorneys right now. We'll see how that goes.
Hopefully
it turns out well for him.
We just got the eyes from Max. No, PD is taking a much-deserved day off today.
I don't know about much deserved, but he's taking a day off. So.
Nonetheless, he's taking the day off. But we're going to go around the NHL today. It's kind of our first time doing that on a live show.
And it's been a while since we did it, right?
It's been a long time. And I know this is what everyone wants to talk about today is the NHLPA's new leader.
Yeah, huge news.
Duh.
Nothing else is happening.
Groundbreaking. No. Let's be real. We got to talk about Kevin Durant.
Yeah, we do.
I know this is a Coyote show. I know it's a hockey show, but we are also a PHNX show, and we'd be remiss if we did not talk about one of the biggest trades to ever happen in the Valley. So, Craig, what are your thoughts on this massive blockbuster trade that set Kevin Durant?
It's just that. I love it. What an entrance for Matt Ishbia, right? It's like all chips in right now. Hi, I'm here. Day one. Let's go. And we're going for a title.
Love it from an owner
right now. What a way to usher in the Matt Ishbia era in Phoenix Suns history. And listen, if you look at the Valley's history of big trades, the Suns have several of them. They're definitely the leader in the clubhouse, but there's a reason for that. First of all, they've been around longer by at least 2 decades than any other team. But this is a Suns town. It has always been a Suns town. It could have been a Cardinals town if the Cardinals had any clue what they were doing, but it's a Suns town. People love the Suns. When they are good, when they are a contender, all eyes are on them, and that's the state of things right now. Here's how big the Kevin Durant story is. It's so big that they've even roped me in to write a story tomorrow.
So Craig is literally writing a non-hockey story because of this.
It has a little hockey element to it, and that's all
Is there
There's a Coyotes reference in it.
Oh,
there's a
okay.
Coyotes piece to it.
There you have it. Yeah, it's just crazy to think about, and it's funny that this all came up because I was listening to a hockey podcast on the way in, and they were talking about just kind of the lack of major blockbuster trade deadline deals in the NHL, and just if that happened, how many more eyes would be on the NHL, and a lot of it has to do with the hard salary cap.
Most of it,
and it's just it's just an unfortunate part of the way things are, but it's rare that you see a blockbuster like this at a trade deadline, and this would almost certainly never happen in the NHL. Like I think the biggest trade we've seen in the last year in the NHL was probably like the Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, that was a big trade.
But that was in the summer, right?
Yeah, it was in the summer.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. And what you said about the owner, like imagine if Alex Morello came in and it's like they traded for, I don't know,
Austin Matthews.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what this is. It's crazy.
You know what this feels like to me? And this is, I'm old. So I had the pleasure of covering Jerry Colangelo owned teams. This feels like a Jerry Colangelo move to me. A guy who cared so much about winning. I mean, as a fan, you want the guy running the team that cares more about winning than he cares about his finances. And I'm not saying Matt Ishbia doesn't care about finances. They're clearly important. You have to pay the piper at some point, but Jerry cared so much about winning. He cared so much about sort of the soul and developing the soul of the Valley. He went all in on multiple deals. He tried to win with the Suns, never quite got there with the Diamondbacks. That's what this feels like. And I'm not saying it's going to lead to a title for the Suns, but they are on the short list now of contenders, and that's really cool.
Let this bring the good vibes to the Valley. Let this turn the tides of luck, and maybe it will trickle down to the Coyotes, specifically in the NHL draft lottery. But moving on from Kevin Durant. Speaking of salary caps and stuff like that, the big news in hockey right now is not a major blockbuster trade. It is, though, that the NHLPA is expected to name its new leader, U.S. Labor Secretary and former Boston Mayor Marty Walsh. He's currently part of the Biden administration. He is reported to be tapped to leave the Biden administration to run the NHLPA. Imagine leaving a presidential cabinet.
It's pretty cool. I mean,
by the way, and this is like my favorite fun fact of the day, Marty Walsh was the designated survivor on Tuesday for the State of the Union. So if like anything bad happened there, Marty Walsh would be the president of the United States right now. But instead, he will be running the National Hockey League's Players Association.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, we'll wait for the official announcement, but it's going to be interesting to see the direction that the PA takes. You'll remember that when as part of the return to play negotiations back in July 2020, they agreed to extend the current terms of the collective bargaining agreement through the 25-26 season. But you can bet that they're going to start talking about this soon, right? I mean, maybe as soon as next season. What are the things that are going to be on the table? And I'll look at this more in depth with input from a lot of players, former players, and agents, all of whom will be anonymous, by the way, so they can speak freely. I'm curious what will be on the table, what the issues will be. Clearly, escrow is going to be on there. Clearly, the cap, the hard cap that you just mentioned is probably going to be brought up. Rookie salaries may be there. Health of players. When we look at things like the Tanner Pearson and Jack Eichel situations, will there be some give there? And I have to wonder, and nobody has said this to me yet, but what about the schedule that we've talked about so many times? Do you want to modify that a little bit? They're not going to give up games. Nobody's giving up games because that's revenue. But can you space it out? Can you start doing the series? All these things, I wonder, will they be on the table? A lot of things for Marty Walsh to think about as he eventually comes in as the head of the NHLPA, replacing Don Fair.
Yeah. So the current CBA is through the 25-26 season. I feel like just for NHL fans, there was the half-year lockout in 2013, the full lockout in 2005. Like, as a hockey fan, I just cannot bear to go through that again.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of work stoppages under Gary Bettman, but that's going to be part of his legacy. But a lot of people criticize Bettman for a number of decisions he's made. But when you look at the growth of the league revenue-wise since he's been in that seat, it's clearly grown by leaps and bounds. But people will always still compare it to the other leagues. I don't think that's fair to compare it to the other leagues. I don't think the NHL is ever going to be what those other leagues are. It just doesn't have that sort of reach. But overall league revenue will certainly be on the table. They'll be asking about TV rights, all these other things. And we've talked about the RSN situation. Yeah. How's that going to impact it? But clearly the number one task for anybody taking over here, and the number one concern for both the players and for the owners, is revenue growth. How do we keep growing this thing? How do we make it bigger so that the pie that we're all sharing is bigger? We each get a bigger slice.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll wait for him to get his appointment, but just a really interesting guy overall. He's a sports fan,
Boston fan.
2 terms as the mayor of Boston.
I don't know what that sound was, by the way.
I don't know either. And in this story in The Athletic, which was written by Steve Buckley, who had the chance to meet Walsh in the past, he talked about him being an ally of the LGBTQ plus community, which, that's a major, underlying storyline going on right now in the NHL and in society. So it's just, really looking forward to learning more about him. I think in the past, a lot of these high level executives, they're just businessmen first, not really fans. It's cool to, learn about him on a personal level a little bit. And, as times change, you need different people in different roles.
Yeah. And the wealth of experiences that he has in his past stops, it's fascinating. Again, I don't know if it's going to translate to this position, but he has a lot of different perspectives to bring to the table, and that's fascinating to me.
Absolutely. Well, more to come on that. But speaking of potential blockbuster trades, if maybe it was 5 years ago.
My cowbell?
Yeah, 5 to 10 years ago, this would be more of a blockbuster. But two names that have been on the table as trade bait, I guess. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews.
Yeah.
The trade deadline is 3 weeks away. We did our whole preview show for the Coyotes specifically yesterday. So if you missed that, go back and watch or listen to that. But in terms of the NHL, it's time to decide what's going to happen with Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. Are they going to end their careers as Blackhawks? Are they going to be moved at the deadline? Are they going to be moved in the summer? Do they even have value left to give? I would argue Patrick Kane definitely does. Not peak Patrick Kane, but still Patrick Kane. But what do you
wonder
think?
about Patrick Kane still, because I think that playing in this situation for this long has probably worn on him a little bit. I still think there's a spark there. I still think Patrick Kane can really help a team. And if he goes to the right situation where he's playing, I know somebody in this room wants to say Tage Thompson, but if he's playing with like Connor McDavid or Artemi Panarin, I think you might see some retro Patrick Kane for a little while. I still think he has a lot of game. Jonathan Toews is having, I don't want to call it a renaissance season because he's not quite to that level, but he's having a respectable season. And I think in the right role, as a middle six center, he could help a team. He certainly has playoff experience. He's an incredible faceoff guy. I think he's leading the league right now. He's a great defensive center, just a responsible player, a respected leader. So both of these players obviously will be difficult to fit in with their cap situations, but I think they can both help someone. It's hard as I don't want to say I'm a former Blackhawk fan, but with all that they went through with the Kyle Beach thing, it tarnished the franchise. Yeah. It tarnished a lot of things. But when I watched them win the first cup, when Patrick Kane scored the goal that nobody knew was in the net, it was that's my childhood team, and I had waited for so long and dealt with so much heartache with this team. They finally broke the string. These were the guys that did it. These were the two key pieces, along with my favorite Blackhawk ever, Marian Hossa and Duncan Keith. There were some others, but those are the principles. It's hard to watch guys like this move on. I know it's time, and I don't think that they're going to retire Blackhawks. I do think both of these guys will probably move on and try and get one more taste of it, because it's been way too long. It's longer than it should have been because of a certain GM who doesn't get named on this show anymore because he did such an abjectly bad job with his franchise. I would like to see both of these guys get another crack at a cup, and it'd be fun to watch, especially Patrick Kane in the right situation.
Yeah.
If he gets paired with a guy like McDavid or Panarin, it's electric.
As Petey would say, boy howdy.
Boy howdy. Yes.
It would just be so bizarre to see them in other uniforms.
Sure
It's just crazy, like the underlying theme of just these massive trades and just people who have been in one uniform their whole life all of a sudden in something different. That's how I know a lot of Suns fans feel about Mikhail and Cam right now. I'm just bringing it back around. But anyway, it'll be interesting, and we'll talk more about the impact of the overall NHL trade deadline as we get closer as
almost
well.
3 weeks now. We're
3 weeks from tomorrow.
3 weeks from tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really close now.
Really, really
Stuff's
crazy.
gonna start happening.
Yep, it will. And man, the NBA trade deadlines today, we've already seen a whole bunch. Obviously,
yeah, Suns may not be done. They may still be trying to add some, I think, needed defense. So we'll see what they do.
We will see. But Craig, that goal that Patrick Kane scored in the Cup was
2010
against
the Flyers,
Philadelphia Flyers.
Yes. Michael Leighton. You want me to replay every moment of it?
But I do remember watching it and being really confused.
I watched it with my dad and literally cried when they won the Cup. I literally cried.
I would cry if the Coyotes won the Cup. I cried when the Penguins won the Cup, but that's my alter ego is me as a Penguins fan. But
see, you have photos with Sidney Crosby, but you have photos of like every NHL. Leah is the Forrest Gump of NHL media, by the way. Has a photo with everybody.
But not Sidney Crosby.
Oh, you don't?
No, he's the one person I've never met.
Sid, I can't believe you snubbed her. Come on, Sid. What's the deal with that?
It's so upsetting.
Okay.
But Philadelphia, that was 13 years ago now, just under 13 years. And we all know, and we knew this going into the season, that the Flyers would be maybe one of the teams even contending with the Coyotes for that first overall pick. And, their season, I feel like, has gone much like we thought it has. They're in that bottom mix, not quite in the mix for Bedard. Yeah. Well, watch them win the lottery now that I said that. But they're not a playoff team. They're not a bubble team.
No.
So the Philadelphia Flyers and John Tortorella sent a letter to fans, and I know this is really tiny, so I'm going to read it, but this is the letter.
Good thing. I can't read it. I think there's words on a page there. That's all I can
So this is the letter that went out to fans. To our valued Inside Edge members, at the beginning of the season, we set out to build a foundation for the future and a standard for how we're going to play night in and night out. Now that we're halfway through the season, I want to share with you what I've seen from our guys. I've been very pleased with our team's effort, drive, and hunger to compete. Perhaps more importantly, and I hope you've noticed this too, I love the way this team has consistently responded to the challenges we face, both as individuals and as a group. Throughout the locker room, our players are showing a full commitment to getting it right. We also have some kids here who impressed me. Some of them have taken on heavy minutes and big responsibilities, and they're going into the impact players we need them to be. This development of our young players is absolutely crucial for our future. This is a long letter. Should I read the whole thing?
Nah.
Okay.
Torts didn't write it either.
I will read it toward the end. I'm not going to lie. I'm skipping a paragraph. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to be clear about this. We're not there yet. This year was the first step in building the future of the Flyers and restoring our reputation as one of the most respected teams in hockey. We're in the thick of the season right now. We're going to see how our group responds to the challenges that lay ahead with the schedule. Hey, calling out the schedule, just saying. It's a grind, blah, blah, blah. We need you with us. We're going to get this right. I'm skipping to the end now. We're going to make you proud. And together, we're going to remind everyone what this team is all about. Okay? So this is the letter.
Ghostwritten.
Yes, definitely not. That was not Tortorella.
I've talked to John Tortorella too much. He'd use different language.
Yeah.
But.
So then this tweet went out. Following up, this is from Charlie O'Connor. Following up on yesterday's letter from John Tortorella to season ticket holders, the Flyers informed them today that the 3 April home games will be, quote, on them, meaning that season ticket holders will get a credit for those games they can apply to their 2023-2024 ticket package.
Freebies.
So, Craig, what do you think?
Freebies. Can you imagine the Coyotes doing this? Okay, listen, the Flyers are not hurting financially, right? So I get it. It's a different animal altogether than a team that's playing in how many seats is it in Mullet Arena? I forget. I haven't been told enough by out-of-town fans and media members.
4,600.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So the revenue situation is a little different. But imagine doing that for your fan base to say, you know what? We admit the on-ice product is garbage right now, so we're going to give you a freebie on those last 3 games. We'll just apply it. As long as you stick with us, we'll apply it to the next season. That's quite a step for a franchise that already has the best mascot in pro sports.
Yeah. Imagine if the Coyotes had to do that every time they had a bad team, how many free games they'd give away. Yeah, but it is funny like that the Flyers sent that letter. I think Coyotes fans are just like, yeah, we don't even need a letter. We just know. It kind of reminds me of the letter that the Rangers sent that they were going through a rebuild, and then they ended up not going through a rebuild at all.
Yeah, they came back quickly, which is the dream. But then, you're New York. You can spend to the cap. You can.
Yeah.
It's the sort of deals that you make. But yeah, I like it when an ownership group is that transparent, and not transparent in a sort of marketing kind of way or a polished, this may not be entirely true kind of way. They're just laying it out there. We suck. We're going to give you the final 3 games free and apply it to next season. That's what this letter said. The Rangers, we're going to suck for the next few years. I like that. Just be honest with people.
Yeah.
Just be honest.
And I don't think the Coyotes are hiding the fact that they're
Bill, and I love that about Bill
Yeah.
Armstrong. It's like doesn't hide any of that. Like he was on our show and he's just laying it out there. Like there's no mystery to this.
Yes.
And I like that. Just do that. Let fans know what they're in store for. Don't lie to them. Don't tell them, well, we're trying to make some moves and we may be competitive. No. We can see it. The honest people can see what's going on with the franchise. So just lay it out there and tell them the plan.
And let's just hope that the fans will be rewarded for their patience.
Yes. Imagine us talking about this level of trade for the Coyotes someday.
Austin Matthews,
Hopefully he just signs as a free agent.
That's true.
So they don't have to give up any assets.
What would be like a major blockbuster deal in like 5 years? It could be someone who.
Yeah. So Tage Thompson.
Yep.
You said 5 years from now?
Yeah.
So after he has 4 Stanley Cups?
Oh, boy.
You'd be fine with it.
I'll be fine if he.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Well, Coyotes fans, in the meantime, as we go endure this rebuild, at least we have 4 Peaks beer to get us through watching these games, before the games, after the games, during the games, for all occasions.
For all seasons, too.
For all seasons.
Including 23, 24, and 24, 25. Oh, did I say that out loud? I did. Sorry, Leah. Sorry. No, you don't care, DP.
You said the quiet thing out loud.
Stain on your sweatshirt.
Hey, if you spilled Four Peaks, at least that's not... I guess it depends which one. If you spilled like a stout on your white sweater, that'd be a problem. But anywho, don't spill your Four Peaks. Make sure you drink it all because it's just that good. And if you haven't had the chance to try Arizona's #1 wheat ale in the Wow Wheat, which is what Craig and Petey were drinking yesterday, one of our favorites, then come on down to Old Town Boondocks for the Tailgate Time Machine this Saturday, February 11th. Try Four Peaks' newest innovation. It's packed full of Arizona citrus flavor, perfect for light drinking in the desert sun. It's going to be a beautiful day Saturday, so head on over to Boondocks. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly. All right, the DraftKings Sportsbook. It's been very happening since this Kevin Durant trade as well. They're going to get more into that on PHNX Bets at noon with Sean, in fact. So tune in. Just stick here on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. A lot of movement on DraftKings. That's what's so cool, though, is just how real time affects these lines and DraftKings right on top of it. So there's just I just love using DraftKings because of that. I know it's accurate, I know it's fair, and they want you to win. They'll give out boosts all the time. With the Super Bowl coming up literally this weekend, there's so much fun stuff to bet on. I love the prop bets. I've been saying it all week long on DraftKings. So check out the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's a perfect time to sign up if you're a new customer. Download it, use the code PHNX. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get $200 in free bets instantly. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details. And now, Sean.
Wait, simple money line, isn't it? This week's DraftKings pick of the week. Simple money line. Will the stain come out or will it not?
What are we doing over here? What are we doing? I'll be able to buy myself a new hoodie with all my
Have you thought about
DraftKings
just
Sportsbook
washing it in coffee?
Honestly, not a bad idea.
A brown
I do like my neutral tones.
Right.
Craig shade aside, I had a change of heart the other night. I was all the way on the Kansas City Chiefs. Changed it. I'm riding with the birds. EAGLES Eagles.
Wow.
Spread -1.5. I don't know. I think I'm a little scarred from the last time the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes was getting chased all over the stadium. I think the Eagles might just kind of run all over the Chiefs. So. Philadelphia Eagles -1.5 is my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week.
Looking forward to that. Hey, did you know that Leah's having a Super Bowl party?
I'm not having a Super Bowl party. I got the invite. One.
Yours might have gotten lost in the mail.
Yeah, sorry.
No, let's be honest.
I have to prepare.
Never said.
I have to prepare for the St. Patrick's Day. Am I still invited?
We'll see.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that's Sean's DraftKings pick of the week. If you want to tail him, feel free, or go against him. 50-50. We'll see.
I don't advise it.
And also, like I said, tune in.
I'm feeling it too, though. I'm feeling the Eagles. I am. I think this team's been disrespected.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Super Bowl.
Charles said it. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Those are the only words to that song that I know. I think they say victory at some point.
Do they?
Really quick.
Like fly, Robin, fly? No?
Really quick, before we move on to our next topic, I want to just make sure we answer Drew's question in the chat. He asked Craig, how would you feel about the Yotes retaining Taser Kane's salary as a third-party broker for Chicago?
Depends on what are the other pieces.
Yeah.
What's coming the Coyotes' way? What are the Coyotes gaining from it?
Yeah. I think we've already acknowledged that the Coyotes might have to do that in some situations, especially if they're going to trade players away to maintain the cap floor, and they're fine doing that as long as they get something for it.
Yeah, sure. What is going on?
Shane is sprinting. I've never seen this man sprint more than in the last 24 hours.
Super Bowl must be in town.
Welcome to this week in Phoenix sports. All right, let's move on to we'll start with the playoff race.
Okay.
Things are heating up in the East and the West, and it's tight, and it's crazy to think of a number of these teams not making the playoffs. Obviously, we gave our predictions before the season started. Might be wrong about some, might be right about others, but 5 teams in the East currently right around those wild card spots. You got Washington, Pittsburgh, the Islanders, Buffalo, and Florida. Pick 2 of the 5.
Am I going first?
Yes.
Gonna make DP happy. And I said this at the start of the season, and I'm not saying I'm gonna be right, but I am picking the Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres as those 2 teams that sneak in as the wild cards.
You don't think with the move the Islanders just made that they're a playoff team?
We'll see. They're hot right now. They're hot right now. But so are the Sabres, actually. But
I'm worried about Pittsburgh just because of their goaltending issues, injury issues. The one thing is Pittsburgh has only played 50 games and the Islanders have played 54. Yeah. They have the same number of points. So the Penguins...
Such a hard time betting against Sid, don't you? I mean,
know.
Can you imagine Sidney Crosby missing the playoffs?
I just told you I cried when the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. Like, obviously, I want them to make the wild card.
Is that because he denied your interview request, your photo, your selfie, whatever?
I don't know.
He was having a birthday party and they wanted Sidney Crosby at the birthday party, but he wouldn't come dressed as a clown.
Craig is spreading false information. He's spreading false information.
All right, who's your picks?
I'm not going to bet against Pittsburgh. I just don't think Florida's going to do it.
I don't either.
Which is crazy, especially given the blockbuster we just talked about. I think the Islanders are going to do it. I think Pittsburgh and the Islanders.
Oh, so
but no, I can't bet against Ovi. This is so hard. Sean, you go.
Let him rest up so we could have a 60-goal season.
Sean, do you have an opinion?
I was not really fully paying attention, so now I do not.
Of these 5 teams, which 2 will make the playoffs in the East? The Capitals, the Penguins, the Islanders, the Sabres, the Panthers.
Pick 2.
Well,
one is obvious.
Buffalo.
One is obvious. I'm leaning Pittsburgh too, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Pittsburgh and Buffalo?
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, we'll see. And then you got the West. You got Minnesota, Edmonton, Calgary, Colorado, Nashville.
We get to pick 3 from here, though. This is a different grouping because of the situation in the West.
Yes.
So pick 3. Who's in?
Colorado. Oh, I can only pick 3. Okay. Colorado, Edmonton. I'm going to say Colorado, Edmonton, Minnesota.
Okay. DP?
I would have said those exact same 3.
I'm going to say Colorado, Edmonton, and Calgary. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Minnesota Wild. They have not been very good in the new
Coyotes did just beat them.
Yeah, they're not playing well. So
all right.
That's my picks.
Yeah, fascinating. It's fascinating stuff unfolding as this playoff race goes. And like we talked about yesterday, there's a group of teams that are going to have to make a decision about how all in they're going at the trade deadline. And like you said to me before our show, from the trade deadline, it's only 6 weeks till the end of the season. So you better be fully committed. We saw the Islanders make that move. They're all in. And if this doesn't work out for them, then that's tough because they gave up a lot to get Bo Horvat. It'll just be really interesting to see which teams go for it and which teams take their foot off the gas. Nashville's right on the precipice there, 54 points. They're only 5 ahead of St. Louis, who I think we've kind of written off. But on the flip side, they're only 4 behind Calgary. I'm not saying that Nashville's going to make a run, but do they try and acquire pieces to make a run? I don't know. It's such an interesting position.
Yeah. 2 thoughts. Imagine if we had the play-in round still, what this would look like. It'd be so much more interesting, wouldn't it? It's still interesting, but I love the idea of the play-in round. It seems like the only one who is against it is Gary Bettman. Like everybody else wants the play-in round. Come on, Gary. Come on. This is revenue. This is a way to build revenue. So do it for that reason. Let's have the play-in round. Aside from that, I have one thought on the teams that are in the running right now. I really don't believe in the LA Kings. I don't believe in them. I don't think they're as good as their record. I think they'll be exposed in the playoffs.
All right. Well, we'll get into our playoff predictions when that comes. Feel free to give your picks in the chat. Mark said Washington and New York are his picks for the East. So I'm curious what everybody else thinks, and we will see who is proven right or wrong. I have a feeling all of us are wrong somehow.
I had to keep riding with the Sabres because I picked them at the start of the year.
Yeah, why not? Why not? But it's hard. Once again, it's hard to deny Alex Ovechkin because he is in pursuit. And sorry to the people of Reddit if we talk about Alex Ovechkin too much, okay? But he is chasing a...
Reddit? I don't care what the people of Reddit think of what I say. I really don't. That's a cesspool.
If you just calm down. My God. Okay. Well, obviously we're watching Alex Ovechkin chase history, but there's 2 insane scoring records in the NBA and the NHL all in the course of a year.
Right. Go ahead.
Getting broken.
Go ahead. You can lay this out.
Is it LeBron James?
Yeah. I mean, that's a hallowed record.
Is it LeBron James?
Is it LeBron? This is Jeopardy. Is it LeBron James? Unbelievable. I know for as much, debate about the greatest NBA players, and I mean, you have to give LeBron his status.
No doubt. He's like on the starting five, right? Probably.
Yeah.
You're figuring that out. He's not the GOAT. Let's
Sean disagrees.
MJ's 6-0 in the finals. LeBron has a losing record in the finals.
What did he do before Rodman and
in spite of the fact that he built his dream team, which
Listen,
MJ never got the chance to do. I think I'll bring the best players, and surprise, we won when we got to bring all the best players to Miami.
Jordan didn't do anything until Rodman and Pippen showed up.
He didn't build the team. And I don't know. When I look at some of the players that LeBron was able to bring in versus what MJ did, I don't know.
LeBron got to the NBA finals with
had he not taken a 2-year
Zadrunas
hiatus, he would have been 8-0 in the finals.
LeBron got to the finals with Zadrunas Ilgauskas as like a 22-year-old. Jordan could never.
Jordan was an assassin. He did not lose.
That being said,
we've had this conversation about the 93 finals. Like, if Cedric Sabalos... No, you weren't beating MJ. You just don't beat MJ in the finals. It simply doesn't happen. He's the best ever. No question, no argument. Forget about it.
You're wrong. I will say, though, because to get it slightly back on track, the NHL scoring record is far more impressive to me than the NBA scoring record.
And don't even come at me with Kobe, because we don't want to talk about Kobe. I don't want to talk about
you guys.
Off-court
You guys
Kobe.
are literally just fighting, and I have like an eyelash stuck in my eye that I've been trying to get out.
Okay, but the NHL scoring record is going to be broken.
I can't believe we're witnessing
Probably
history.
not next season. He's slowed a little bit. But I mean,
but
if he got hot,
we're watching history unfold before our eyes with
crazy.
Both of these. It's unbelievable.
Wayne Gretzky's goal scoring record's
we're
gonna
so
fall.
lucky.
What?
We're
Kareem
so lucky.
Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record's gonna fall? Are you kidding me? It's incredible.
We're so lucky.
Yeah.
We're so lucky. It's unbelievable.
We're living in a golden age. And listen, part of this, people will talk about longevity. You're right. Longevity matters, and Kareem lasted a long damn time. I mean, he still has 150 more games than LeBron. So that's incredible that he did it in that era. But when you talk about longevity, be careful comparing eras, because sports science, like in the last 15 to 20 years, has taken leaps and bounds over where it was. So players are able to play more games because sports science is able to take care of their bodies better than it ever was before. Injuries that were catastrophic in another era are no longer catastrophic. They're not a big deal. Plus load management, all that stuff. They just manage everything. Nutrition, they manage everything better now so players can play longer.
Absolutely.
That is another reason why LeBron isn't the greatest.
That's the exact reason why LeBron is the greatest. But
can
we just I'm sorry, Leah. Can we just get the Watts brought it up? Can we stop with this idea that LeBron wouldn't be able to survive Jordan rules? Like, he wasn't an all-state high school football player. This man is one of the greatest athletes in the history of organized sport. He would survive a bunch of plumbers hacking at his hands. Relax with it.
He's physical. He's a very physical.
He is the best player. He is the best player in the most advanced form of the sport. Thus, he is the greatest of all time.
Nah, not that. But I do think he could handle the Pistons, because he's strong. He's a strong player. He could hold his own.
Well, as Nicholas said, these records may never ever get broken again. It's unreal. What a time to be a sports fan. What a time to be a sports fan indeed, Nicholas, because we get to do things like play underdog fantasy when we watch sports. Right on your phone, right when you're watching, instantaneously. That's fun. It is a great time to be a sports fan with all of that, and with just all the craziness going on in the NBA, with the NHL, with the Super Bowl this weekend. It's a great time to download Underdog, because you can play daily fantasy with any of those leagues. Just play against one of your friends, all of your friends, small group, strangers, whatever. Just draft a team. It's just that night. Season-long fantasy can be exhausting, and at this point, you probably know where you stand in your season-long like NHL and NBA leagues. So why don't you try daily fantasy or play the pick'em game on Underdog, which I also love. And I know Petey's counting down the days till baseball comes back. It's very close. So join us in that. It's super easy to get started. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app. Sign up with the promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And then once you win yourself some money and you're finally deciding it's spring cleaning coming up here. The weather's getting nice. Take stock of all your furniture. What do you need that's new? Listen, because I know there's something you need that you've been putting off. Now's the time. Go to More Furniture. Save big on the best furniture in the Valley when you head to morefurniture.com. That's morfurniture.com. I'm in the market for a new table right now.
The entire house of furniture.
Yes, a house of furniture for the most part. But what I like about More is they have white glove delivery, which just makes it so stress-free. When I have 1,000 other things I'm going to be worrying about when I move, they will just deliver it and put it where it needs to go and make sure everything gets taken care of. So check out More Furniture. I certainly will be upcoming soon. All right. Well, we've talked a lot about playoffs, but let's go to the other end of the spectrum. And it's this is where we're comfortable with these bottom teams, the tanking teams. And I want to bring up this poll that JFresh did. I know, Craig, you love JFresh. They do unbelievable work. You can follow them on Twitter. A lot of statistics. So they ran a poll. There were 3,700 votes. Fan attitudes toward lottery teams as a destination for Connor Bedard. If you're watching on YouTube, the pinkish color is negative. Dark blue is indifferent. Light blue is positive. So I just thought it was really interesting to see the Arizona Coyotes be one of the most negatively looked at teams at 43%. Having a negative feeling toward the Coyotes getting Bedard, 26 indifferent, 32 positive. Chicago, as expected, 69% negative. I think Craig is all 69%.
Only
15% positive, which I imagine are probably Blackhawks fans. But with the best attitude is actually the San Jose Sharks.
What?
Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought this was really, really interesting data.
Too, right?
Yeah, the Ducks are in a good position. Obviously, Sean's Buffalo Sabres, Nashville, kind of just these teams that are flying like middle of the radar. But come on, people. You don't want to see Bedard and a Kachina?
Can you imagine if this were one of those years where one of those bubble playoff teams that just missed hit the odds and got Connor Bedard? That would be insane.
Like the Buffalo Sabres?
Yeah, like the Buffalo Sabres. But they're going to be in the playoffs, as we just discussed.
True.
So it's not an issue.
I'm stunned by the general indifference towards the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, 46%.
Which honestly is like most people's opinion of Buffalo. Like, they're pretty indifferent, and then they meet someone from Buffalo, and they're like, I have to hate y'all now. So those people just clearly don't know many Buffalonians.
Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. And I think a lot of it probably has to do with, you know, the arena stuff and just the overall perception and the perception that Gary Bettman is the only reason that the Coyotes. Do we have breaking news?
Vladimir Tarasenko was a New York Ranger.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Breaking news live on the show.
I don't think Patty Kane's going to New York anymore.
Holy sheesh. Wow. All right. Wow. We're just breaking news. I love it. Well, I will look more into that at the moment, but Tarasenko, I mean, he's been one that he's been, you know, he's expressed that he's not happy in St. Louis. He's been one I think we expected maybe to be traded last year. Ooh. Tarasenko and Artemi Panarin. But he's had a lot of injury struggles.
Yes, that's interesting to me. I really thought the Rangers wouldn't go hard after Patty Kane. I really do. And they may have inside info. Pat Kane may have said, you know what, I'm just going to stay here the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Become a free agent. I don't know. We don't know his decision yet, but I know that Patrick Kane loved playing with Artemi Panarin, maybe his favorite line mate ever. So I'm a little surprised that the Rangers may be out of it.
Wow. Yeah. So Frank Saravelli reported that on Twitter. And JFresh, speaking of JFresh and the stats, said he's a top 6 sniper, still very dangerous off the rush. In particular, his production at 5-on-5 has fallen off this season after a big jump last year, but he's still a good chance creator. That was the JFresh analysis of Tarasenko. But wow, do you think this puts the Rangers over the edge at all?
Not really. It doesn't feel like that to me. That's why I guess I'm a little bit surprised. I thought they'd make I mean, listen, if he recaptures who he was for even a short run, sure, they could make a run to the cup. But I really thought they'd be in on Patty Kane. Yeah.
Wow. Shocking. Well, love some breaking news live on the show.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. Back to the bottom.
Yeah. Back to our reality.
The battle of the basement. This Friday, Chicago, Arizona. The Coyotes are 1-5-3 against the bottom teams: Vancouver, Montreal, San Jose, Anaheim, Chicago, and Columbus. And they better keep that.
I removed Ottawa
up
from this mix from the last time I did this because Ottawa's gotten a little bit hot. Ottawa still thinks it might be a playoff team. It's not, but they're no longer in the running for the worst record in the NHL.
Yeah, but the Coyotes need to step that up. Anaheim is now tied with Arizona. I never thought we'd see the day. Anaheim had a horrible start out of the gate. Columbus and Chicago right now holding it down. Columbus 34 points in 32nd place.
I think Columbus is going to finish with the worst record in the NHL. The Blackhawks still have a couple games in hand. And if Patty Kane decides to stay in Chicago, I could see that team hitting another one of those runs where they climb past the Coyotes. But I don't think anybody's catching the Columbus Blue Jackets. This team just looks dead on the ice.
Yeah. And Chicago, they're 5-4-1 in their last 10. So, they're kind of riding a little bit of a high. If they beat Arizona, it's inching them closer and closer. And we didn't think it was possible.
Were they 4 points back? Is it 4 for the Blackhawks right now?
5. Yeah. So a big gap to fill, but at one point it was 11, and we thought at one point that was impossible. And I know we keep saying, we talk about all the pieces the Coyotes are going to send off at the trade deadline, and it's probably going to make them worse. But, everyone's counter is, but the Blackhawks are going to do the same thing. So I understand. I understand that, but I don't know. Sometimes teams go in the opposite direction where they almost want to prove you wrong. Chicago has had a lot of AHL players up the season already. It's going to be very similar.
And it's hard to make trades too. Yeah. I know the expectation is, they're going to move 5 or 6 players. Probably not. That doesn't happen. It's really hard to make trades in this era of the cap because the cap hasn't been going up, and teams had, in previously they had banked on the cap going up, and that's how they did their forecast. So it's really hard to fit guys in right now. I don't know that you're going to find any team that's able to move more than 3, maybe 4 guys. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I cannot wait. I'm just counting down the days till the NHL trade deadline. I need it. I need the excitement in my life. And by the way, I want to just address this comment from Design Love about Ovechkin and the stuff with Russia and the Ukraine. Craig specifically, we've called out Ovechkin and in terms of stuff with Russia. So us laughing about Ovechkin, that has to do with Reddit and us apparently talking about him too much in his pursuit of his record. Yes, we would never laugh off the situation in the Ukraine.
People were angry
and
that
Russia.
We were discussing Ovechkin so much. But by the way, it was when he was coming to play here, so it made sense. But yeah, we're definitely not taking that situation lightly. It's disgusting.
No, absolutely. So just want to address that because I don't want anybody to think that we think otherwise.
No, and that's the problem with jumping to conclusions off of with too little information. Yeah. Sorry, that's not what we were saying at all.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Coyotes, they actually have a homestand coming up at the end of this month, an actual one, not just 2 games. Right. An actual homestand of 4 games. So lots of opportunity to see the Coyotes in person at Mullet, but also lots of opportunities to see Kevin Durant as a Phoenix Sun upcoming too. So for all of your ticketing needs for whatever event you want to go to, check out Game Time. Wait till the last minute, save up to 60%. I've even watched, I don't know if I would pay for a Super Bowl ticket, but I've watched those tickets drop every single day. And there are Super Bowl tickets on Game Time. So if you're feeling a little crazy, why not go for it? Save up to 60%, of course, when you wait till the last minute. And the best way to support us is when you buy your tickets through the link below in our description. And that's not just for sporting events. It's for concerts and shows as well. I am monitoring a couple of different concerts, and I'm going to just wait till the very last second, which is kind of fun. And that's why I love Game Time. And speaking of Kevin Durant, as if we're just finding ways to bring him up in every single conversation. We have to because he is a Phoenix Sun, and of course we have a new t-shirt. Of course. Kevin Durant's Phoenix Sun, and we weren't going to have a new t-shirt. Who do you think we are? Check this out. The Kevin Durant Slim Valley Reaper t-shirt. Go to the PHNXlocker.com right now to get yours, and make sure you get it before it sells out. Get it, and you can rock this at Kevin Durant's first game as a Phoenix Sun. This shirt is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. That is incredible.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing. And if you're a diehard, you get 20% off all merch. So if you're a diehard, you get 20% off this very shirt. Or if you're not a diehard and you want to become a diehard, you get a free shirt or a hat every year at sign up. So this can be the free shirt you get when you become a diehard. So just a lot of great situations. I obviously recommend becoming a diehard so you get access to all of the stories that Craig does, a little bit of extra work. I'm not, because Craig doesn't care about all his other stories. Just kidding. But no, but diehard only content on the website, as well as access to the Discord. And like I said, 20% off merch and events. But check out this new shirt, phnxlocker.com. Go get it now. I'm going to, like, as soon as our show ends, I got to go order mine. I love it. I'm wearing my Sunset Drive Devin Booker. I felt like I had to wear a sun shirt today. Like it just, I decided to wear a black shirt, unlike Sean, who decided to wear a white hoodie and with a white t-shirt underneath. He just gave me a death glare.
We're going to somehow lose the feed right now.
On that note, we should probably wrap this up. As Mark said, hit that like button on this video, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching later. Craig, do you have any final thoughts? Any other news or notes?
I got nothing else. I got to get to writing my Kevin Durant story. So.
Yeah, Craig is writing a Kevin Durant story for the website. So check that out. We appreciate everybody in the chat. We appreciate you all listening later. Make sure to subscribe. Leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts, Apple or Spotify. Follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms. Everything is happening all at once this week. We got Super Bowl, the Waste Management, NBA trade deadline. It's all going on. So give PHNX Sports a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We got you all covered. Seriously, just it's all happening. That's all I can say. And of course, you can follow us. Follow PD at SPeterTalkie. Give him a shout out for his Roman read yesterday. Yeah. Money. You can follow Craig at Craig S. Morgan. Follow me at Leah Merrill. Follow Sean at Sean_DePause. Give him some laundry tips. And you can follow our show at PHNX_Coyotes. We'll be back live after the Coyotes take on the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow night. But until then, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.